Welcome and blessings, magical community. Welcome to my channel, Emerald Moon. We've had about 3 days of really intense electrical storms here, and when it's storming I love to just snuggle down with a book. And I thought to myself, I haven't gone through the huge book haul that I got back in January from a book festival where everything was $5. So I thought I'd bring out my tower of books that I got from the book fest and go through each of the books and to show you all. So the first book I got is called Spellbound, and it is by Helen Glissick. This book goes through a lot of different spells for different things, and I thought it was a really great find. It has different spells for different areas. It talks about rituals and anointing oils. Talks about magic, symbols, divination, and a whole bunch of other spells. So I thought that was a really good find for $5. The next book is called Spells and How They Work by Janet and Stuart Farrar. And this is about the workings of spells. This also talks about different types of spells and how they work and the energy behind them. I also got these two books, which I thought were a really great find. They're both Fiona Horn books, and the first one is Witch, A Personal Journey, and the second book is Witch, A Magical Year. And I've heard really great reviews about these, so I'm interested in giving these a read. I also got some books on tarot because I'm learning the tarot. So the first book is called The Dream Oracle by Pamela Ball, and this is just about going through the symbolism and tarot, but through your dreams as well. So it's a lot about using the tarot with also incorporating dream management. So that looks really interesting. Another tarot book, The Amazing Book of Tarot by Joan Moore, and this just goes through discovering how cards can predict the future, so using tarot. For prediction as well as divination. And it just goes through all the major arcana, the minor arcana, and also different spreads. So it's a big book, but it's quite thin, so I don't think it will take very long to get through. I was really excited when I stumbled across this find. It's called The Tarot Spellcaster by Terry Donaldson. And this is about spellcasting and tarot. It has a spell for each of the major arcana. and also combining cards to create spells for different areas of your life, and it has over 40 spells to use with the tarot. So that looks really delicious, and I'm really excited to read that one. This one's a bit thicker, probably because it's tarot and astrology. So the Astrological Tarot by Witchy, and this is about what the title says, about incorporating and learning about astrology alongside tarot. And I've heard from quite a few teachers that learning astrology beside tarot is actually really helpful. So astrology is quite broad and has a lot of depth and breadth of knowledge to it, and learning different things about planets and star signs, the zodiac and houses, and that's just scraping the surface. So Jessica Starr, the story witch, she is doing a series at the moment about learning astrology. So if you're interested in that, look that up on YouTube. Jessica Starr, the story witch. She is fantastic. Okay, this big bad boy is called Kiss Guide to Astrology, and like I said, I'm learning astrology alongside tarot. So and you can see how much there is to astrology by the thickness and all the different facets of astrology. So this will take a while to get through because it is so thick, but there's a lot of simple explanations in this book, which is why I grabbed this big one. Thought I had them in order, but I had them back to front. The next book I grabbed was A History of Herbal Plants, and I'm really enjoying herb magic at the moment. I don't grow my own herbs, but I have sourced a lot of my own herbs from friends and family's gardens, and I dry my own herbs and to use in my magic. So I thought that this book would come in really handy, because this book, which is written by Richard Lestrange, actually goes through the different properties of the book and how different cultures use different herbs for medicinal purposes and things. So I thought that would also be really interesting. And also the I'll find a page, like the book just reminds me of old grandma. Like, look at this illustration as soon as you open the book. Isn't that gorgeous? I thought that was just lovely. Okay, so here's an example. This is Belladonna, also known as Deadly Nightshade, and you can see the illustrations there. The illustrations are just beautiful. And it's got illustrations all the way through the book, and I love this on the back. I love this on the back, the cultivation notes. It reminds me of RWS work, tarot cards. I thought that was just gorgeous. Okay, the next book is Opening to Channel by Senaya Roman and Joanne Packer. And the reason why I picked up this book is before I started my witch's journey, I was part of a psychic development group, and the group would often talk about this book and give reference to this book a lot, so I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing what all that was about. The next book, Animal Messenger by Scott Alexander King, is a book that I picked up because it actually has in the back a whole section on just Australian native animals. And ever since my late teens, I have always had a spirit animal guide. Some people call it a totem. A lot of people call it a spirit animal guide. So I believe that animals bring us messages from spirits as well. And this book also has a lot of sections on animals from specific to other countries as well, like Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. I also picked up a copy of Anamkara. This is a fairly well-known book. It's written by John O'Donoghue, and it has really beautiful poetry and stories from the old Celtic traditions, which my ancestors are from the Celts, and that's where I descend from. I thought this book would also be really helpful in doing ancestral work as well. The last book I have is called The Dark Goddess Dancing with the Shadow by Marcia Stark and Jean Stern. I am really interested to get stuck into this book. This book is about connecting with our feminine shadow and doing so through the dark goddesses of different pantheons. Hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching, and blessed be.